anybody listening to this video, especially if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, did you not see this coming, right? You could just see this coming. This is why I made that video this summer when I found out that we signed Rajon Rondo. My response, if you guys remember, was something like, why? Why would we sign this malcontent, this fucking team cancer? Talented as he can be at times, he's a team cancer. Now, true, they did win with him when they were Boston, but as talented as that team was, I think they won in spite of him at times. But he did contribute a lot of times. You know, I give him that. But he's not the same guy that he was 6-7 years ago with the Boston Celtics. He's not. Okay? And now he's more trouble than he's worth. So, you know, it's frustrating to watch this team because we have some talent. Are we a championship caliber team? No. But we shouldn't be 8th seed. We should be at least, in my opinion, in the top 5, probably top 4 of the Eastern Conference. But oftentimes, you know, we lose to teams that we should be beating. And recently, you know, Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler called the team out. You know, called the teammates, saying that, called out some of their teammates. Apparently, I guess it may seem like it was aimed at Rondo himself and saying that, you know, some of their teammates aren't playing as hard as they should be or don't want enough. Wade saying, quote, I don't know if I see enough guys who really want it. Losses like this, it has to hurt them. I'm 35 years old, man. I got 3 championships. It shouldn't hurt me more than it hurt these young guys. They have to want it. I wish that I could say that everyone in here is going to go home and not eat tonight. I can't say that. I wish I could, but I know if it hurts. Games like this are supposed to hurt you. You're not supposed to sleep. You don't want to go up and talk to nobody. These games are supposed to hurt. I don't know if it's in the guys in this locker room. And Butler went on to say, we weren't guarding anybody, doing whatever we wanted to do, and we lost. Story of our year. Over and over. Same thing. It's not the first time we've seen this. It's not the first time we've done it. And then, after this, you know, and what I don't really understand about it is that this was more or less aimed at younger players, supposedly. But I don't know what's going on between Jimmy Butler, Wade, and Rondo, but he seemed like it was aimed at him or partially aimed at him. So then Rondo, you know, he posted this picture on Instagram, right, of him with the big 3. And then he goes on to talk about how the veterans on his team when he was young, the veterans being Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, you know, the examples that they set. And he put on, you know, under the picture, quote, my vets would never go to the media. They would come to the team. My vets didn't pick and choose when they wanted to bring it. They bought it every time they stepped in the gym, whether it was practice or a gym. They didn't take days off. My vets didn't care about their numbers. My vets played for the team. When we lost, they wouldn't blame us. They took responsibility and got in the gym. Now, let me interject something right quick. I remember many fucking times, all right, I got all the respect in the world for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. I think they're Hall of Famers, yada, yada, yada. But I remember a lot of fucking times when they've lost to certain teams, especially like Cleveland or whatever, Kevin Garnett would go to the media and complain about free throws. I know y'all remember that shit, right? You know, you look at us, you know, see the team, Boston, we shot 15 free throws, and one player on Cleveland shot 21 free throws. There's something wrong there. But anyway, let me go back. They showed the young guys what it meant to work. Even in Boston, when we had the best record in the league, if we lost a game, you could hear a pin drop on the bus. They showed us the seriousness of the game. My vets didn't have an influence on the coaching staff. They couldn't change the plan because it didn't work for them. I played under one of the greatest coaches, and he held everyone accountable. It takes 1 through 15 to win. When you isolate everyone, you can't win consistently. I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a bad teammate. Ha! My goal is to pass what I learned along. The young guys work. They show up. They don't deserve blame. If anything is questionable, it's the leadership. And, of course, that's aimed at Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade and possibly even Fred Hoiberg. Most likely Fred Hoiberg, but he's not going to be included in this in the media because he's white, being honest. Just a little bit, you know. Coaches kind of don't get thrown into the mix. But, unless he's a high-profile type guy. But anyway, I also noticed in that picture that he doesn't include Ray Allen, a guy who he reportedly had a lot of beef with. You know, he's a veteran, so I don't know why he's not in the picture. But anyway, supposedly after this, one of the younger Chicago Bulls thumbed the picture up. One of the younger Chicago Bulls players thumbed it up, and Dwayne Wade thumbed it up. You know, and also afterward, Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade claimed to have no issue with what was said by Rajon Rondo. But if you ask me, I think that his response was unwarranted because you're already having problems with this team. Okay, now I see it was Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis and Dwayne Wade liked it on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure that, in my opinion, Wade liked it to show that he saw it, not that he liked what he was saying. Okay, and I think it's right now. It's most likely that I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I was always saying that Rondo probably will be no longer with this team after the offseason, after the season is over. But now I'm starting to wonder if they're going to trade him during before the trade deadline, man. Because this is kind of irreparable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I knew it wouldn't work with this guy, man. Especially at the stage of his career now when he's not the player that he once was, but his ego tends to think that he, you know, leads him to believe he thinks he is. But tell me what you guys think, man. Like, do you think that Rondo has a point what he's talking about and that Wade and Jimmy Butler shouldn't have gone to the media and that they're not playing up to their expectations? I mean, Jimmy Butler, to me right now, is clearly the best player on this team. I think he's a superstar talent, but he doesn't have a superstar personality. Okay, he's a premier scorer. I think he's scoring 25, 26 points per game for us. Wade is still a very effective player, though he's not the superstar that he once was. But he still has more left in the tank than Rondo. And I even sometimes wonder if Rondo is doing this, man, just to, you know, pretty much say, fuck it, you know, I'm done. I want to move elsewhere. That's what I'm starting to think that's what it was, man. But tell me what you guys think.